Relax, the press box is closed, but the mic is just getting warmed up. Welcome to the Hockey Writers Inc. Join your host, Ron, as we talk all things Philadelphia Flyers and Lehigh Valley fandom. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of the Hockey Writers Inc. with your special host, Mr. Russ Cohen. How you doing, Russ?
Hey, good, Ron. How are you?
I am doing fantabulous. We got lots of stuff to talk about here on the docket on the show this time. So, how about we get started? Episode number 209. And Danny B sends the Jett back. How about that? All right. Episode number 209. Danny B sends Jett back to his junior team. And we're going to dive right in here with the great Russ Cohen. All you have to do is go to Google, type in Russ Cohen, find out all the great things that he does. Hop on over to Sportsology and follow him on X or on sportsology.com or Elite Prospects or Locked On Flyers or, the list is long and long.
A few
Anyway,
things, yeah.
there you go. But anyway, the great Russ Cohen. Here we go. Let's start off with the good. Let's do that. Let's start
Okay.
off with the good. All right. Really good game against the Islanders, I thought. Um, I was really pleased with some of the feistiness. I was really pleased with how players were sticking up for each other.
hmm
I'm all in on that.
Yeah. No,
Right? You
those things were evident. Those things were good. Um, I'm not sure we all thought it was going to turn out that way, the way we were watching that game and the way things
right?
were, but it turned out that way. So it's a good story in retrospect. And, like Trevor Zegras went to the net. So it's something that Rick Tocchet talked about. Before that, though, I tweeted the only guy going to the net still this whole season was Noah Cates. So we'll see if Zegras keeps that up because nobody else is doing it. So that was a positive, though, because that, got them a goal on the power play, which is a rarity. So
Oh, you were right. Right.
those things are good. And Sam Ersson did make some timely saves,
Yes, he did.
something he hadn't really done this year. So
That's true.
that was good for him too. The win's a win. All those, anytime you win is good. So
Yeah.
yeah, the end result was good. How they got there was a little alarming, but the way it goes.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to do. We covered the good parts, right? So, okay, we got some good parts. We got a couple of goals. We got some guys sticking up for each other. We got a couple power
Mhm.
play goals. We got Trevor Zegras on the board. Finally, you,
Yeah,
you
yeah, nice
know,
2 goal game.
yeah. I that and I was really impressed with that, Russ.
hmm
Uh, I mean, like we saw some flashes of what this team actually could be. I mean, I thought Cam York had a really good game. I
He
thought he
did.
had a pretty solid game. I really liked what Sandheim was doing. I thought he
I
had,
was iffy on Sandheim. His penalties were bad. He was a little behind the play. That holding penalty was a bad time for one. So that was a one rare game where I was a little iffy on Sandheim.
okay. Who else did you think was a standout in this game other than Zegras?
Yeah, yeah. Tippett had a good game for sure. He, I felt like he should have gone to the net when he had that breakaway. I still don't know why he didn't and missed the shot, but
Yeah.
he's still the fact that at least he was getting an open ice chance was good. So I thought that was a good game. Drysdale was good at the end. He wasn't great at the beginning, so
Yeah.
he finished strong. So at least that was one where he finished strong. So that was good. Cates had a terrific game. I mean, Noah Cates, he had a big goal. Is it great that Noah Cates is your best player right now? No, no, because like he should be one of your big spark plug players that's complimentary, and right now he's kind of leading the pack. So that's a little alarming. Um,
So now
his
I
whole
understand
line,
what you mean by alarming about how they got there. So now
yeah,
I understand why you're saying that
right.
it's alarming because it's
And his
Cates.
line was good. His line was good.
Yeah.
I will say that everybody has noted that Bobby Brink's gotten faster straight
Yeah.
line.
Straight
And the
line. Yeah.
reason I say that with emphasis is because in overtime, you could see Matthew Schaefer, who is 3 times the skater, with all that ice, Brink couldn't even get past Matthew Schaefer, who's a rookie, a
Right.
terrific rookie, but he couldn't get
Couldn't
past
get
him.
past him.
Why? Because of the skating.
Yep.
So that's
That's
something
alarming too.
where that showed up there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's alarming too, I think. You
I
know
don't
what
know
I
if it's
mean?
alarming, but I think it's one of those things where it's like it could limit him as to like what he can do in the future if he can't figure that part out because it's edge work and I think he's a better skater than when he started. He was a really ugly skater. Now he's not
Agreed.
quite, but is that going to ever get him over the 45 point mark? I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's the only thing I say on, my only commentary on that.
Okay.
They still don't have anybody at the point on the power play. They really now they have an extra roster spot. Emil Andre should be called up for the Pittsburgh game because you're going to need a puck moving uh, defenseman in
Defenseman.
that game,
Yeah.
and you want to have shots going on net from the power play, but I don't know how or if they're going to do that. They may not. Probably
Right.
won't because I said it. Uh, but I think that's what they need.
Yeah.
So I think I think Rick Tocchet's doing a good job. I think he's going through a lot of different ways of seeing how the guys are playing, different ways of evaluating, and I think he's eventually making the right calls. Gurbankin, I still think should have gotten more ice time, but now I'm thinking, he could sit a game, and if they bring up a forward, let him sit a game and just kind of let him stew a little and see what's going on the ice because he has some good plays and he has some bad plays. He's still like, there are times where he'll have two really good periods. He'll be that spark plug, but he just can't keep it consistently for a whole
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm not sure where that's going to take it. Against Pittsburgh, I really don't know who the goalie's going to be based on what Sam said in the locker room as to playing the hot hand, and he's happy about that. He likes that competition. He thinks he'll be really good in that competition. You would think he's getting the next start based on that. Can I tell you that definitively? No. But I think he's probably going to get the start. So, yeah, I think things that on the big roster is uh, Rick Tockett's idea of young players are the young players like Cam York and those guys, Zamula, who's already a 2-year veteran in that, not focusing much on those younger players like Rebenkin and guys like that who desperately need playing time and guidance and everything. So, like I said, that's the limitation, I think, on what he is willing to teach because he still wants to have those veterans in there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And that makes
again,
sense.
that part, I mean, it makes sense and it doesn't. For me, it doesn't only because everybody was saying, Russ, don't worry. That's, this is happening when it was happening under Tortorella. Russ, don't worry. When they're out of the playoffs, guys will get these spots and they'll get to play. And I'll be like, great. That's the last 20 games, 25 games. They need more than that if you want to really see what you've got and test them and everything else. And so right now, there's no difference between Rick Tocchet and John Tortorella in that regard. There's a difference in how he handles the media and how he's handling the guys, but on the
Yeah.
development end, there's no change.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
change because
Yeah.
Mitchkov hasn't developed.
No. In fact, he's kind of regressed
Yeah, I mean he's getting
under
some
Talkett.
points, but yeah, at least they're using him in overtime now. But he's not a threat like he should be on the power play. He's just not a threat a lot of the game. And I feel like he has to get that confidence back, and he's thinking too much out there still. It's the same thing I told you a week ago. I mean, Rick Tocchet says he doesn't want to take the stick out of his hands. That's true. I
But he
believe
kind
that.
of is, though.
But he kind of is when he's asking him to have all these responsibilities. And now
Yeah.
people will be like, well, hey, Russ, he's got to learn like everybody else. Okay, but there is a limit. There are guys like, and he's not Mario Lemieux, but how much defense did Mario Lemieux play? How much I could
Seriously.
go through a litany of guys that never
Yeah.
played a lot of defense, and their offense was so good that you were like, okay, you know what? You can live with it.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the gold standard if you must know the truth. When Ovechkin changed his game and started playing defense, he won a cup.
Sure.
Okay, so I mean,
But the only difference is he also had physicality. Michkov has no
yeah,
physicality.
right.
So like it's easier for Ovechkin to apply defense when he's bashing guys into the boards too.
Mitchkov is not doing that.
He's not doing that.
No, and he's not even he. I like his feistiness, and I like
Yeah.
his
But he gets penalties from the feistiness.
yeah, right, which is like really, I can't believe. You know, is it me, Russ? I have to just ask this
It's always
question.
you, Ron.
Okay, all right. Well,
I'm sure
let
your
me.
wife has told you.
I'm sure, yeah, many times. But an observation: is it me, or does it seem like every time there's a huge scrum, the Flyers end up on the bad end of the stick?
I think half the time. I don't think it's all the time, because that last one that they had, uh, with Mayfield bleeding and everything, it was even. There was no penalty, and I was surprised because Hathaway technically ran whoever it was he ran into the boards that made Mayfield go after Hathaway. I thought was a penalty, and they didn't call that as a penalty. So that's where
Okay.
I would say not always, Ron.
Okay. All right. I was just curious because it always just seems like there's always these gathering of players and
Hmm.
this big huge scrum and it's all said and done and the other team always ends up on a power play and I'm just like, okay. Anyway.
Well,
But
the one thing we don't have access to are like mics on the ice. So sometimes there could be salty language that gets them in the box too, because a ref just gets fed up with them.
so there's that, you know.
There
So
is
there
that.
is that.
Because if
Okay.
you
All
bother
right.
a ref enough, he
I'm
may not
sure.
call you for a game misconduct for what you're saying, but he might just call you for something that's borderline.
Or ticky tacky or whatever
Right.
because he's trying to, get you to shut up.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Um, all right. So the bad. Let's do the bad now.
Okay.
Um, the power play, although they did get one there with Zegras, and that's all fine and great. It's still we're still going to kind of beat this dead horse because there's still nobody in front of the net. Just like you said, you tweeted, there's still nobody going to the front of the net. They're in the power play, and still there's nobody in front of the net. It doesn't seem like the message is getting through.
I mean, it did to Zegras, so that part's good. Yeah, right now, numbers right here. They were 28 the other day, and now AI is telling me they're at 30. I'm not sure, but they're somewhere between 28 and 30, probably.
At least they're
Uh,
not. At least they're not last.
they're not 32.
You know.
Here,
Okay.
here, here's what I would say. We have been saying for a while that the second power players and Bucket is having fun with the media and they want to have them.
Yeah.
Well, guys that seem to come say do better. Yeah, I know. At some point, he is to have to dress that. Because you don't want to break that top out because you leave him through eventually. People who play second power should be playing him, and the other one playing the other, looking for the same thing for the top one. Should be playing more.
Here's this is in our last point to make sure I'm looking at that. You know, I don't find it's couple, but I look at the
Possession right away.
you got all the way roll and everybody down until you get and you you got to have another puck of speed. Exactly, and they like I said. I think that's something they need to fix. So
Yeah, me too.
we've talked about that ad nauseum, that there's so much just going on that needs to be taken care of. So okay, next game up for the Flyers is going to be the Pens, and who'd have thunk the Pens would be where they are with who they have and what's going on with them? I mean, all
Well, at
right.
least there's one good team in Pittsburgh.
At least there's one good team in Pittsburgh. It's their basketball team.
Jay was great. He was. Look it up,
there,
kids. Look it
yeah,
up.
right. Yeah, look that one up, right? Okay, seriously.
Fish that say Pittsburgh. All right.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's a boy, Russ. That qualifies as a whoa, Nelly.
Yeah, yeah. That's all. That's an
That's
oldie but goodie.
an oldie but goodie, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's kind of. It's amazing what happens when you actually get goaltending.
Oh yeah.
Because it can fill those holes that you have,
Yeah.
and make you look a little bit better than what you probably are or
Oh
could
yeah.
be, or you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
okay.
Look. Even in that Ottawa loss, the Flyers got good goaltending. They just hadn't had good scoring. So that's the thing. Everybody when the season was getting ready to start, everybody's like, well, look, better goaltending is going to get them, and they all have the amount of wins and points, right? What they don't ever account for on the better goaltending is if your team's not scoring goals in those games.
It
You
does.
limited the goals, yes.
Yeah,
You didn't
but
lose by as much, but you still didn't win the game. And I think that's the stat part that's hard to quantify.
there you have it, folks. You got to score some more goals, because goaltending has actually been not the problem
No, it's not the
in
problem.
Philadelphia.
Like Travis Konecny needs to score more. There's a bunch of guys that need to score more.
Okay, right, but goaltending, is not the problem. So
No,
okay, all right, I'm okay with that. I think it's going to be a rather spirited game here with the Pens.
they will.
And I'm looking forward to the first matchup, of the Keystone rivalry. So for
I mean,
sure.
especially since the Phantoms lost to Scranton. So yeah,
Well, I was just going to get to that because didn't the Phantoms just do a home and home here with Hershey?
yeah, they did that with Hershey, but they played Scranton too. They played three.
Oh, they did. Okay, so the home and home with Hershey, they split. One of them went into overtime.
Yep.
Um, and the game against the Penguins was
It was a loss. I forget what the score was. Yeah, I forget what the score was, but it was a
okay.
loss.
Okay, so they
And
lost two and won
but just to show
throughout
you,
the weekend.
Wilkes-Barre is 7-0.
No. See, you're taking the stuff out of my mouth here, man. You
Oh,
know what I
sorry.
mean?
No.
No, you're good. No, you're good. And that's kind of what I wanted to
I knew
get
they were
at.
undefeated, but I didn't know to what degree. That's why I was looking it up.
Oh, okay. So yeah, 7-0. I mean, it's okay. And Hershey, although not quite where
They're
they
not where they were last year.
yeah, they're not quite there, where they were. They had a huge change over there in Hershey, coaching change, the whole 9 yards. Um, I mean, Cristal looks really good.
Yeah, he's playing again, and so yeah, he's a good player.
He looks really good. I'm really excited about what he's doing. I really like what the Phantoms are doing, though. I like Richard. I like how he's
Yep.
been playing. I like
They
now
do
that
need to score a little more because they're getting a lot of bottom six scoring, but they're not getting scoring like from their young guys that everybody got overly excited about. Alex Bump is struggling. Uh,
right,
Denver Barkey's new in it, but he isn't scoring yet.
right.
So you're looking at that. Uh, Really, one of the nice things, and it picked up a lot last year because I got some early criticism when I said Zade Wisdom's a good player, and he had a really good second half of the season. Now they've made him a center, and so I think that could change his trajectory because he's still only a 23-year-old guy, and so he had a two-goal game.
Yeah,
Uh,
and he came on really, really good late
so
last year.
yeah, Carson DeWart's playing really well. The The goaltending's good there too. I mean, Bjarnason needs time in that league. His speed's faster than what he's used to, so that's going to take a little time. But I just want to see, like, the vets are doing their job. They're grinding it out. They're doing their part. I just want to see the young guys that everybody thought maybe next year would be playing there, um, would would be producing. And so, like, it's going to take a while. Like I told people, Devin Barkey should be in the AHL next year. I tell you that now because I tell you that that's the way it is. Because he still needs to get stronger. He still needs to learn how to dominate that league. That is going to take him a little while because he's a smaller guy. Alex
Yep.
Bump, it's up to him because if he's playing at this rate, he will have trouble making the team next year. If he, I wouldn't call him up at all this year right now until he shows me um, that he could play at a higher speed and score points. He hasn't been doing it. He has 3 points in 7 games. He's like a -1, so that's a little disappointing. But the defense has been great. Andre's like their second leading scorer. He's terrific. He should be getting that first call up, but who knows what they'll do.
Yeah.
Um, the interesting thing is that call up could be a big deal. Richard is a guy that you certainly could look at it. I thought Devin Kaplan maybe because his role is a bottom six role. He has started out really good,
Yeah.
and he will play the same game in a couple of games in Philly because he'll still be in the bottom six and probably the fourth line. He's used to that, and so that's a positive when you have a guy that doesn't have to change his role at all and they're playing the same system, and my cat decided to make an appearance.
I was
Uh,
just gonna say I got to see your little kitty.
yeah, yeah. Well, I got two dogs sleeping right now too, so.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so I think that's a good thing. I like the job that Snowden's doing, and I think there's definitely even room for improvement, which is good. I'm never going to talk about Samu Tuamala this year. I think he's toast. Um, I just think his development curve has plateaued. So you won't hear me talking
Okay.
about him
Yeah. Right.
unless he really decides to do something, which I don't know if it's possible anymore.
Okay. Do you think? Do you think? Uh, Now that Jet has been sent back, do you think now that Obels is gonna continue to try to
He
make
should.
it?
Abel should be the guy, the go-to guy, because he's every game he's in, he's impactful. And
Okay.
so, yeah, I think he should be that guy. We'll see if they stick with that. That'll be the interesting thing. But yeah, that's what I would do for sure. But
Okay.
the two best defensemen are Andre and Helge Grans. If Grans could play really well for another couple weeks, maybe at some point he'd get a look. But Risto's going to upset all of that. And
Do
my
we have
basic
any? Do we have any idea about him? About
no,
Risto?
I mean they said Kevin Kurz had a source a couple days ago that said 5 to 6 weeks for him and Bonk. And so Bonk,
Okay.
this year is a tough year for Bonk. Like, don't look for him in the NHL next year because he's how many? What's he going to play? Half a season this year in the AHL? Like, you shouldn't do that to him. Defense is a hard position. Um, I think he should start the next year in the AHL too, and then you see how he has done it the second half of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And the
Just because
summer,
of the
there is
time that
no
he's missed.
reason. There's no reason to rush that kid. But they've been focusing on offense and they need more defense and goaltending prospects. And I'll leave it there.
Okay. But I absolutely and 100% agree with you, though, Russ. I think that's exactly. I think that would help to put them on a much better trajectory with depth, with um, getting that prospect pool to start making a difference.
Yeah, because I mean, look, Zavragan still may be 3 years away. You don't know. You don't. I mean from the NHL, and so you don't know what he's going to be when he comes over. You hope, but you don't know.
Right.
I don't think he is Shesterkin, but I don't know what level below that he is. So he has a lot of talent. So you see, but they didn't draft anybody last year as a goalie, and they have Bjarnason, and so there's a gap there.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
gap because you have two goalies up right now, but you don't know in 3 years where they're going to be at. Vladar looks good right now, but hey, we could be seeing it a different tune. That's why you want that depth, so you have something to go against it. The Flyers have plenty of forward depth, but they don't have much defense depth.
No. No, they don't. No.
And Spencer Gill just got hurt, so that
And
doesn't
yeah,
help.
that's yeah, and he's gonna just be gone for a period of time as well too. So
Yeah,
that's gonna
so
hurt
that's
too.
something they really need to focus on because even if you have really good offense, remember what the Edmonton Oilers went through when their defense wasn't right. They had a lot of good guys on offense, and it didn't matter
Well,
for a little.
what's the cliche that everybody says, Russ? Defense wins championships,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It pretty much across the board, defense wins championships. I mean, what?
yeah. Coaches coach defense first in hockey. I mean, but again, that's not always the way it gets charted up in drafts.
Exactly, exactly. So, but I have to say though, really like how and where the Phantoms are headed.
Hmm.
I think they're starting to put things together now. They're third in the Atlantic, you know what I mean, and that
Yeah, I don't
bodes
know.
well.
Were they ever third last year at any point? I'm not
No,
sure. I don't
no,
think so.
they were not. No, they were not. You know
Right.
what I mean. So that's when you start off at a higher you know, when you start off higher in the rankings, you
It
have
helps.
much. Yeah,
You get
you
a
have
cushion. You get a cushion.
right. See, then when you get to the end of the season, you don't have that much of a big ladder to climb. You
Right.
know, you have that cushion there where, and see, and that's the thing too. What the Flyers need to do if they want to start thinking about playoffs. Number one, they got to get their power play, but you got to win these games early in the season so that at the end of the year, you're you know when you're scraping by for points,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, look, you and I both think that the Flyers are not even going to be close to a playoffs this year.
No, I don't think so.
No, you think they're going to be? Do you
They'll
think they're
be
in the McKenna
they'll be
race?
part of that 11 that gets, a chance at the lottery. What number in that 11? Who knows? Maybe they surprise us and they're, number 11. But still, I think it's better to be in that 11 than
Yeah,
not be in that 11 and
yeah,
still be 7 points out of the playoffs
I'm with you all day long because
because you don't really get anywhere being there either.
and it is proven fact that players that are drafted in the top 15 round or the top 15 picks in the first round, those players more than
Yeah, they're always
40% of
going to be
those
the most
players,
impactful on
right,
average. On
right,
average.
40% of those players in the top 15 picks make it into the NHL.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
that's
no,
a
they'll make it more than that. Will make it, but make it for like a 100 to 200 games, like
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
decent
yeah, yeah.
run.
Okay, all right, but still, that's pretty decent. And you if you're in that pool and you get to select from that group of players,
Yeah.
chances are you're going to get a pretty decent guy
Yeah.
who's going to be able to help your team sooner rather than later.
Yep.
Okay,
That's the
so
goal.
there you have it. All right. Well, some really good games coming up here for the Phantoms. Really good games coming up here for the Flyers. I think we covered a lot of great stuff on this show here, folks. Thank you, Russ, very much for
You're
hopping
welcome.
on here, man. I really appreciate it. Why don't you tell the folks where we can find all your great stuff, sir?
Sure. Off the Post Radio on YouTube, NHLDraftBuzz.com. I just put up another new piece or two. Sportsology.com has some new content. I did, yeah, an NHL Draft Buzz. I put up a Blake Zelensky article, so that's people can check that out. He's a 2026 draft pick out of Berlin,
Yeah.
New Jersey. So yeah, and then books. I have game winners. I have
Oh yeah.
10 others, and we're working on another one, but not a
Yep,
hockey
yep,
one.
yep. Not a
Not a
hockey
hockey.
one. Okay, all right. But all you have to do is go over to Amazon and type in Russ Cohen, and you'll be able to see all the 11 books that this man has put out. And I'm here to tell you, I've read one of them so far, and man, I'm telling you what, I can't wait till I get the next one. So
Cool.
I'm not sure, Russ, which one's going to be the next one. So
Okay. Well,
I'll let
surprise
you
me.
know. I'll let you
All right.
know which one it is. I'll let you know which one it is. So
All right.
thank you very much for hopping on here and talking all things Flyers and all things Phantoms. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much for Lowercase Blues. That's lowercaseblues.net for the opening music for the show. Thank you very much for that. For Jake and the boys, hop on over to lowercaseblues.net and get all their great information. They got tour dates. If you are in the Delmarva area on the East Coast, you got to go check these guys out, man. Lowercaseblues.net. They got swag. They got some videos out there. They got a new album out. You got to go check that out for sure, for sure. Thank you very much to lowercaseblues.net. Thank you, Jake and the boys. Appreciate that. We will catch you all on the next episode of the Hockey